Hey everybody, it's me, Tina, with Years of Experience. Hey, I've got the first video uploaded, and I have to warn you, I'm a little rusty at this. I really have no clue what I'm doing, so these first few may be a little awkward, but as we go, I'm hoping that I'll learn and you'll learn along with me, and we can make these fun and enjoyable and quick, and we can move on. So the first video I thought we would do is things that you should do before you go to Disney. These are things that I have found for my family have been very helpful that I wish people would have told me way back when we first went. So hopefully these things will help you. The first thing, and I have done this, and I'm sure you guys will all nod your head too, contact your credit card company before you leave. Make sure they know you're traveling. Give them your travel dates, because with this day and age, if they see things that are outside of your normal area of charging, they will shut that card down and there you will be. So make sure and call your credit card company. Also, if it's a debit card that you're using and you know you're going to be making larger purchases, know what your limits are. In other words, some of them, if you use it as a debit, you're limited to the total dollar amount that you can do. So make sure that you know what those limits are, and if you need to increase them before you actually make the purchase, make sure and do that. The next thing is purchase ponchos before you go. Now, this is kind of a controversial thing. If you want to go to the dollar store, or I even seen them at Menards the other night, you can buy them for 99 cents. They have ponchos. You can get inexpensive, cheap ones, but I'll warn you, they won't last. So if you're going to do the cheaper ones, buy 2 or 3 sets, because taking them on and off, they're going to get ripped, especially if you're kids. Also, things stick to you. You know, when you get wet, it sticks, so then it rips. And there'd be nothing more frustrating than putting on a poncho and it's got a big hole in it and there you are wet. Now, if you choose to buy one at the parks, they're cute. They have Mickey on them. They have Disney, so they're kind of a, what do I want to say, collectible. Now, the other good thing about purchasing them at Disney or even through the Disney store before you go, if you get to the parks and it rips, it tears, it whatever, take it to one of the gift shops and they will replace it. No charge. It goes the same with a pen. If you buy a pen, an ink pen for your autograph books, and you buy it there at the park and it either one stops working or it doesn't work, because sometimes that happens, take it back. They will replace it. No questions asked. They want you to have a magical experience. So bottom line is, regardless which way you go, make sure and pack and take ponchos. I don't care what time of year you go, because guarantee it's going to rain. And the best time to be in the parks to keep ahead of the crowds is when it is raining, and it also can be a lot of fun. Along with that, that's a whole new thing, like a rainy day video. Oh, that would be fun. The other thing is to make sure that you take extra pairs of shoes, because when it rains, it really rains, your shoes are going to get wet, and it's nearly impossible to try to get tennis shoes to dry out. So just have an extra pair, or throw sandals in your backpack that you're carrying in the park, and when it starts to rain, duck in, switch out, put your dry tennis shoes in there, and you're good to go. So there's another one. The next one is purchase fuel rods for your cell phones. I don't know what it is about the Disney app, but it will zap your battery on your cell phone like no other. I never have an issue with having my battery last all day on my cell phone. When I'm at Disney World, it is not the case. So make sure and buy the little rechargeable fuel rods. They have some really good deals on Amazon. Now, if you don't and you forget, you can buy them at the parks. The nice thing is if they run dead, you can exchange them for a fully chargeable one at no charge. So make sure and have your fuel rods for your cell phones or your devices. The next thing is break in new shoes. A lot of people, you go on vacation, you want new shoes, new tennis shoes, wear them ahead of time. You will do a lot of walking at Disney World. Lots of walking. I don't know how many miles. I can't remember. I know we tracked it the last time and we were like, okay, made us too tired. So before you go, break in the new shoes. Check the weather before you go. That goes without saying. And then it kind of helps you to know as far to pack. Now, it's also subject to change, as you know, but at least you've got a general idea and you're not completely caught off guard that it either one turned cold or that it's going to rain like a whole week. But don't be discouraged. If it shows that it rains, that doesn't mean that it's going to rain all day. Typically in Florida, a storm can come in and 10 minutes later it's sunshiny and beautiful. So it just depends. But check it just so that you kind of got an idea ahead of time. Mostly more for the fact of the cold, because depending on what time of year that you go, in December it could be beautiful 80. It could also be 40. So be prepared. The next thing is make sure, and this is kind of a big one, we live in an age that not too many people carry cash anymore. It's just kind of a thing. We have debit cards, we have credit cards, so we don't carry cash. Before you go, have small bills on you for tipping, especially if you're using Magical Express. They're going to take care of your luggage for you on the bus. Give the driver a couple of bucks to help you. Another thing would be you may need it for, I don't know what it may be, but anyway, just, I don't know, just have small bills handy so that way you've got it. Watch movies before you go, especially the classics. So like Peter Pan, Snow White, The Lion King, you know, I'm going to age myself here. A lot of those I know and I've watched and I've seen, but you go to like Peter Pan, which is like one of the signature things at Magic Kingdom, and a lot of little kids go in there and they have no clue what this is all about. If they see the movie, it helps them put the connection together, and two, it kind of helps you as a refresher. The same with over in Animal Kingdom, Avatar. Pandora is beautiful and it's amazing to walk through there and see what they've done, but if you've not watched the movie, you don't quite put the connection together. So watch the movies of some of the things that you're going to be doing there. So Avatar is a good one. Star Wars, if you've not seen any of them, if you're planning on going to Star Wars. Lion King, Snow White, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, just some of the ones that you know you're probably going to be doing the rides, so that way the kids and you can put a connection with it. Another thing is rent strollers and your scooters ahead of time. They do have strollers for rent inside the parks. If you've got older kids and you're basically just using it so that, when they get tired, you're not listening to the whining, those strollers are fine, but they're hard plastic, so they're not real comfortable. If you want a nicer one and you also want something that you can take from the park back to the resort, rent them ahead of time. That's something I can help you with, and I can get you some pricing on what it would cost, and it will be there at the resort when you check in. If you rent the ones in the parks, they have to stay in the park, and it can be quite a walk from the park entrance to the buses, so this is something that's a good idea to check into. Practice mobile ordering and the app in general. Your Disney app, you're going to want to download to your phone, play around with it, practice it, learn how to use it, know where to find the wait times, where to find your reservations, and then mobile ordering, practice that. You can go all the way through and actually create an order, just obviously don't order it because it'll charge your card, but practice. So that way when you're in there, you're tired, you're hungry, you just want to get something to eat, you know what to do and you're not fumbling around and it just adds to aggravation. So practice it, play around with it, get familiar, and everyone in your party should do the same thing if they're going to have the same access that you're going to have. So make sure that you do that. This is probably the biggest tip I can give you to do before you go to Disney World. Check your kids' heights before you go. Most of the experiences, most of the rides at the parks don't have a height requirement, but there are some that do. So if you have a kiddo that is dead set on doing Space Mountain, you've went to Space Mountain, you've waited in this long line, you get all the way up there and they check his height and he's not tall enough. It's going to be very frustrating for you. It's going to be heartbreaking for him. So check it ahead of time. So that way you know that they're tall enough, and you're not going to have any problems, and everybody's going to be happy, and the day will continue to be magical. Even if you think, oh yeah, they're 42. Disney is very, very strict, and they should be, on their height requirements for a reason. The reason being is the liability of it and the probability that something wrong could happen if they're not tall enough. So check their heights, make sure they're good, make sure they're good to go, and then that way, again, you'll have a magical time and everybody will be happy. Now, that is all I have. Those are like the top things to do before you go to Disney. There's lots of other tips that I can give you. And if there's any that you think you want to add, comment below, and maybe we'll have to do a part 2. Thank you, and you have a good day. Oh, and make sure if you like this and you want to see others, like my subscription or subscribe to my channel and click the little bell that will tell you that when I upload a new video. Thank you.